I don't even think Nick knows that I'm doing this mural. It's pretty much toddler rules. If you think I'm being suspiciously quiet for any amount of time, I'm probably up to something. Tell me if this is just me. Do you have a spot in your house immediately harken back to your Sims days when your Sim would walk into a poorly decorated space and you can just feel? For me, that is our laundry room. It fills me with so much dread. Don't know what I'm talking about? Okay, well, I'll show you. Behold. A pit of despair. What's that? You want a little tour? So as you walk in, immediately, things on the floor, bag of dog toys that I need to donate, some blankets that we don't have any storage space for, laundry that needs to be put away, shing, a coat, my game of hoop and stick that I bought so optimistically and have not opened it yet, our washer and dryer, trash bin full of lint. We heard that it makes good fire starter. Do we have more than 1 or 2 fires an entire season? No. A bunch of coats. Don't have anywhere to put these. Boxes of stuff, like pots for plants. My grandma's paper towel holder from our old house that doesn't really work with our kitchen now, but I'm too sentimental to get rid of it. Drink / like lemonade holders for when we have parties. We have not used these in 3 years. Tech boxes that for some reason we are a household that refuses to get rid of. Pretty much all we need for laundry. There's a light bulb in here, a volcanic rock that we picked up from our adventures. Immediately passing the boundaries, it's almost like a portal. I walk in and I am immediately like, ugh. I wish I was being dramatic too. It's a pretty cute room, which I think has a decent amount of space. You can't really see it, but it's got a really cute stained glass window that you would never know is even there because it's just covered by garbage. Nick and I are going to try to tackle this room. Aesthetic laundry room. We're gonna be like a Pinterest family, okay? We're just gonna dive right into this, not unlike Jillian Owens dives into toxic relationships. Before we actually get to designing this room, let's head over to a good old-fashioned inspo board. Since this video is sponsored by Milanote, essentially gonna build this project in 3 different boards: inspiration, design, and to-do list. Milanote is a free online creative tool for your projects. I last used it for my Chapel Roan But Make It Vintage. Sort through all the chaos that's going on up here and turn it into this. So let me show you how I've been using it with our first board, inspiration. Ignore all of my copious drinks. Do you even work from home if you don't have at least 6 different empty bottles and drinks on your desk at one time? Now, as your eyeballs and ear holes might have gathered, this room is going to be directly inspired by the Practical Magic house. To visualize this all at once, I want a way to make a mood board where I can have all the images all in front of me, gather, you know, the vibes. Milanote actually has the perfect template for this. Here we have a blank canvas. They're different templates, so they got empty board, project plan, mood board, creative brief. I'm going to choose mood board. First of all, I'm going to change the board background. Yeah, that's good. Plop in all the inspiration photos that I have of the house. More than just the kitchen, although the kitchen is, I kind of want a conglomerate of all of the different parts of the house. So we got the kitchen, you know, the pantry, the attic, the greenhouse, that delicious shiplap, and that crusty Victorian vibe is what we're going for. So from here, I can actually drag over some notes about each room. Can also draw directly onto the board. So I can draw like little arrows here. I will be honest, I do have to stop myself before I get carried away. Another feature that I love oh so dearly is the color palette picker. The template came with some. Let's customize it a little bit. So I can take this and I can either use the color picker to pick directly one of these, or I can just choose my own brown, like the butcher block. Or when you drag this onto the board, it will automatically choose one for you. So now that we've got that, we can zhuzh it up a little bit with some of the little clip art things that I've made. Blech. That's not bad. So now that we've got our inspiration, let us move on to the design phase. I am not gonna use a template. I'm just gonna go, hi babies. Both of my babies at once, oh my goodness. Oh, it's the girl. Design. I'm actually gonna plop in a before photo that kind of hurts my soul to look at. Hold on, gotta make it pretty. Talk about what's not working for me. Clearly it is cramped and cluttered. We are finally making the move to a stackable unit. So that should make a lot more room right here. This requires taking down this shelf and this shelf. This wire shelving is just not up to my level of whimsy. And I want it out. Clearing the clutter out of here is gonna reveal that stained glass window that has been so desperately wanting to be seen. So let's draw this up. Starting with the empty room, stackable washer dryer. I'm gonna do a wainscoting on this wall right here to kind of resemble that shiplap. Butcher block countertop, again to mirror the butcher block that's in their kind of kitchen area. I'm hoping that this will help with organizing. Maybe one day I won't lose every single match to every single pair of socks that I own. Also gonna add some yellow tiling on this wall over here. Hopefully a cabinet that has kind of a glass window up top. Lots of plants like in the greenhouse, as well as some decor projects that I'll talk about later on. Drag our illustration over and start making our notes. So, my friends, this is gonna require a major deep clean. Let's go. Amidst the chaos, we even found a priceless masterpiece.
Canvas with holes in it.
Frodo!
How do you know that was Frodo?
Wow, the artiste has made his mark. Unbelievable. Then it was time to clean this bitch. Now that we have a completely blank canvas of a room, let's talk about the game plan. Leads us back to the creation of board number 3. I'm going to put products and items that I'm going to buy on the left, game plan on the right. First things first, let's make our to-do list. Drag this over. You know I love checking off a task. Now our next move, only a true adult in their 30s would get excited about.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought I had footage of moving in the new stackable unit, but apparently I don't, so here's a dramatic recreation.
I'm gonna hop over to picking out the furniture and decor. We did decide to go IKEA. If it were up to me, I would have gone secondhand for all the furniture, but Nick made a good point of the practicality of it, and this is such a tight space that we really need specific measurements. We're gonna be using their kitchen planning tool, and if you've ever used this, not only is it super clunky and hard to use, but it's like near to impossible to find it again once you've already used it. To solve that, I'm gonna use the Milano web clipper, which is an extension that you can use, which is gonna save this to the board for me. Drag this so I won't lose it because,
Yes, Nick's arch nemesis.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
No, I don't understand.
I've come to talk with you again.
Eventually though, we were able to mock it up and order the products.
Done some searching on some other things that I need to order now. This ceramic tile, very, very similar to the one that's in their kitchen. This link, put this over here, copy and paste. There you go, that there, perfect. What I am gonna add is a way to keep track of costs. Cost. Our IKEA order, it was pretty hefty actually. I've got the ceramic tiles. No, some of the other stuff. Ouch, my wallet hurts. Having this all in front of me, making me realize that maybe we need to cut costs in other areas like thrifting, making things work for a little bit less money. A little bit more aesthetic. All right. in a situation where maybe I was working with a client for this, basically what you can do is add editors on this board and then they can go in and make their own changes. Of course, I'm working on this by myself. Once again, I will have Savannah playing the part of my collaborator. Thank you, Savannah.
Psst, you can use Milanote for free with no time limit using the link in my description.
Are you ready? Let's get started.
Naturally, the whole process started with picking up our furniture order. And then building, to which Frodo decided immediately instead that it was tummy time. Then it was to go pick up some wainscoting and trim, which I conducted my usual tests.
On top of that.
After a somewhat questionable transport method, we headed back home. It's time to get done. Because of the trim and the outlet, this wall was very tricky and required sort of drawing it out. I know there are tools for this, but being a true trash queen, I wanted to see if I could use aluminum foil for this. It was to basically look like this. I marked off my little trim section, and again, I'm sure there's a better tool for this, but I just dremeled out the detail. Conclusion being that it sort of worked. We were a little bit off, but I was able to just dremel it down and fix it on the spot. Just then I was presented with an opportunity that a spouse truly just cannot ignore.
It's painting time. Some protection for my fettuccine wrists. So the wainscoting is up. It's already looking way better in here. I need to take care of the rest of this robin egg blue. And yes, this is just gonna chill out in the middle of the room, making my life difficult. Quite excited to make this room neutral. I know you're utterly shocked by that. But I give it about 3 minutes before I'm regretting wearing long panted overalls. Let's get started.
That night, it was the craziest lightning I've ever seen, so I was having a really cozy time just painting and listening to the rain hit the window. Whilst my lovely husband is taking care of the framing for the countertops, I can't really do much in that room. So I'm gonna do some errands. First being going to the thrift store and finding some goodies. What I need at the thrift store: baskets, some frames, try to look out for an upper cabinet. I had my eye on one, Facebook Marketplace, but Facebook Marketplace is also very unreliable and I'm not positive that the person is even going to read my message. This is what I initially was looking at. It has the glass window. I'm going to peruse the furniture section and see what we got. Try not to panic about that one. I'm not ready to peruse. Let us. Before leaving, I was able to have my true Amelie moment. Let us see how Nick is doing with the framing.
Whoa. with tall people counters. I like it.
That's why I was asking if you wanted it shorter.
No, it's nice having a counter that I don't have to like bend over for. Could your general contractor do this? Look at that flexibility. Oh, the prowess. Illustration says, smash. Smash.
It's like,
Oh yeah, the wall. Well, whatever. Just old house things.
no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So was it one more higher?
Wow. I'm on my way to go get a cabinet from Facebook Marketplace and hope that I don't get murdered. Oh, it wouldn't hurt me, right? I look like a paleontologist. I ended up going with this cabinet because the other one never read my message or anything. So driving an hour to get a cabinet is fine. I don't have 5,000 other things I need to be doing right now. See ya, hopefully.
1 hour later.
Package secured. There she is. Oh. And I'm alive. I think it was because the shirt. He didn't want to mess, you know. I might have a triceratops femur in the back as a weapon. Back home, and then we can start on the laundry list of things that I need to do. I can't believe that's the first time I've thought of that in this entire video. All right, let's go home. Y'all ready to tile? I'm so ready, said with the confidence and delusion of someone who has never done this before but has watched a total of 2 videos on YouTube. For a split second, I thought about just doing peel and stick. I did. If I am ever going to make over rooms or businesses, I want to broaden my range of skills. I just wanted to give this a try on a very low stakes room. Nick and I are pretty much the only people that are gonna come in here on a normal basis, so if I mess up sort of yellow tiles, like a little backsplash. Not a lot of tiling because I did only get 30 of these. 4.25 inches each, plus with the spacers, it's about 4.5. Pretty much only gets me about here. I picked this up, an adhesive tile mat. Put, peel. It came with spacers. Stick the tiles on. I bought your uncle. Or I guess I should say, Francis and Jet are your aunts. Okay, oh, I'm scared. After those are stuck, some grout, a float. I need all of my focus for this. A little sprinkling of good luck. So if you could please. Thank you. First I was using only one spacer, but then sort of quickly realized that was going to be an issue. Whoop. Well, that one's crooked. Let there be no doubt of this being a strong adhesive. Holy hell. Then it was time to mix the grout, which took a little bit more time than I thought it was going to, and I almost added more water, but eventually it got to a peanut butter-like consistency. Now, aside from almost immediately making a mess, this was pretty easy to do. But I wasn't getting quite the control I wanted, so I did switch to just smushing it with my fingers. There's probably a reason you're not supposed to do this, but at the time I couldn't think of it, so... Level up! Level up! Then I moved over to making some changes to that cabinet, but not without first going through the furniture inspector. What do you think? It's okay? Since I couldn't find one that already had the window frames in it, I decided just to do it myself with this thin wood that I could chop. And struggling a little bit with trying to get everything symmetrical, eventually I got it, and I was able to just use this construction adhesive and glue it right to the glass. Good morning, everyone. Today is what I live for. This project has been a little construction heavy, but now I can go in and get my grubby mitts on it. Let's start that off by showing you what I got at the thrift store the other day. This, as you saw, I liked the fact that it looked like it was in the process of being planted, kind of like their greenhouse. Some lace curtains. Probably won't use that for this project. I'm a sucker for old stinky lace. This was more for sewing purposes. Is that not absolutely gorgeous? Little green guy. Gonna put some fake plants in that. Fake book. Grandparents. I initially was thinking I could use this as the spell book and just repaint it to look like that, including the front. If not for this video, I think it would make a good like Halloween decoration. These two baskets, $2.50 each. These will go on top of the laundry unit. For $4, I got this. My plan for this is to make a sign for Sally Owens's apothecary, Verbena Botanicals, and I want to make it look like an old apothecary sign. I have a frame coming in, an oval frame. Another thing I want to do today is draw the house to like an old piece of paper so that I can put it in the frame and it looks like, you know, a historical drawing or blueprints or something. Another thing that I'm hoping we have time for, I would love to do this mural that's in their house on the upper half of the wall that's next to the washer dryer. Crafty time, baby! Good stuff. Let's go. First up is the sign. So it started by taking a picture into Photoshop and mocking up an old-timey sign with a good old-timey font. Borrowing some elements from Victorian design and also existing apothecary signs. I initially was only going to print this out for reference and paint it, but then I had a brilliant idea. I Mod Podged the paper right onto the sign with the idea of painting on top of it after. I'm not very good at this, so it was a little lumpy bumpy, but you know, who among us, right? Once it was all dry, I went in and added some outline just to make it look a little bit more hand painted. Uh-oh, drawing with precision. All right, you ready to draw the most perfect house in the world? Good. The frame I have has room for a 4x6. And like I said, I want this to kind of look like old architectural drawing. I don't know, we're just gonna do our best. Straight lines and symmetry. It's like you can be really good at drawing organic material and nature. The second someone asks you to draw a car, you look like you could use a relaxing drawing time lapse. What do you say? This is the look of someone who's going to paint yet another mural in her house. As mentioned, if you look at the Owens living room, a wrapping twig with leaves and birds. I'm gonna put it on this wall. Now, it's a little hard to find good images of this online, but thankfully, I'm extra as hell. There is this one specific issue of Victoria magazine from October 1998, singular article about the Practical Magic house. I tracked this down on the internet, could not find it anywhere, until a lovely human contacted me and let me know that her mom was selling her copy. I purchased it from her. Here we are. The fabled magazine. So if you flip through the pages, there's some info on the different rooms of the set. All of these exist on Pinterest and I have them saved in a board. I need something tangible. I need something to hold and to open and look at when I need references. I'm going to use this page to help me out. Got my handy dandy pencil. I'm gonna mark a base design and then we're gonna go in and start painting. Let's do it. Since this mock-up phase is near to impossible to see, let's skip to the good stuff. thing about this is that I don't even think Nick knows that I'm doing this mural. He hasn't been down here in like an hour, so. With me, it's pretty much toddler rules. If you think I'm being suspiciously quiet for any amount of time, I'm probably up to something. Then it was time for all of the finishing touches. I decided to recycle one of my old candles so I could put stuff in it because it's a perfectly good glass jar. I was working on making this cabinet feel lived in and cluttered, and then disaster struck. Well, these things fell off.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I did unfortunately lose some of my grandma's glassware, but I picked myself up and the shards of glass. We reworked it so that it was much stronger and actually screwed right into the studs of the wall. It is what it is. It could have been way worse and I didn't get hurt, so. With that, I think it is just about time for the reveal. Too much work for 5 days? Yeah, maybe. But hey, I feel like we gained an entire room in our house, even though it was already here, because it was just so non-functional before. I don't know if I have enough stuff to fill up everything. More decor might come in time. We gotta live in it a little. There are a few things we didn't get to stain some of this wood. I want to hang a curtain here, fix up this window, re-glaze the outside and stuff. Just really take care of it and make sure that it lasts for another 100 years. For what this was before, this is a huge improvement. I think the flow works really well. We haven't done a laundry load yet, but something like that. Our house is historic, so being able to kind of return this back to an older Victorian kind of vibe means a lot to me. That's it. Who says that you can't live in the set of your favorite movie? Well, you can. In fact, I encourage it. Maybe take care of the tornado that we caused throughout this entire process.
Worn out places.
Thank you so much to Meal and Out for sponsoring this video. You can use it for free using the link in my description with no time limit. I love you whether you're new or old to this channel. If you're new here and you feel like sticking around, feel free to subscribe. I upload every other Friday and we have fun here. Oh, and you know what I'm gonna do now that this video is done? It's midnight somewhere, baby. I'll see you in my next video. Bye. So, what was that noise? You're crooked. Womp. Is that better or worse? Then I'm gonna put you up there. You want a piece? Looks like that painting. Oh my God, you are so precious and I love you.